A beautiful black mother walks into a North Philadelphia barbershop on October 7th, 2023, streaming Instagram stories, smiling with her young son at her side. Just 72 seconds later, she's on the tile floor at 2500 West Lehigh Avenue, bleeding, crumpled, gone. No warning, no mercy. The killer? Her ex, out on parole. But the reason? That's the real question. This is Tiffany Nitiffa Wade, a woman whose voice resonated through sub-zero live streams, late-night DMs, and gentle bedtime prayers over her children. She was more than a content creator. She was hope, laughter, and triumph under pressure. But on Saturday, October 7th, 2023, at exactly 1:48 p.m., she sat in a barber's chair, scrolling through messages, possibly planning tomorrow's post. Near her, like any Saturday ritual, was her 7-year-old boy, caped snug around his shoulders. Then came the gunshots, 2 in total, one to her torso, one to her head. By 2:04 p.m., medics pronounced her dead, right there in front of her son. The man who did it? Tiffany's ex, just out of prison, just days after her transformation from companion to competitor. He's now wanted for murder, robbery, and illegal firearm use. The city issued a $220,000 reward. As of now, he remains at large, a ghost in the streets of Philly. But this isn't just a news story. It's a love that shattered, a trust betrayed, a woman undone in plain sight, inside a place where personal stories are shared with every cut of the clippers. Imagine the contradiction. Dazzling influencer light, decades of loyalty, and then this final, violent eclipse. Tiffany was all of us, ambitious, caring, courageously visible. Yet she paid the ultimate price. And now, we need to know, how could this happen? What drove him to follow her into that shop? Where is that story leading, and who will finally be held accountable? Stay with us, because her name, her life, deserves more than dying statistics. It deserves justice. Right now, wherever you're watching this, we ask you to hold a 1-minute silence for Tiffany Nitiffa Wade, a sister, a mother, a human being who did not deserve to die like this. Thank you. She was born in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, a small city framed by steel mills and blue-collar strength. Growing up, Tiffany Wade learned early that resilience wasn't a choice. It was a requirement. At 20 years old, she earned her registered nurse license, driven by a deep sense of purpose. She didn't just want a job. She wanted to help, to nurture, to rise.
You know I'm with the shit. Count money, turn me on. You hoes can have that padded dick. No, I had to write a song. No, I had to drop a diss. So you better leave me alone before you end up in a dick. Make sure folks say R.I.P. Heard you stay on DIP. And a hoe can talk her shit, but ain't no hoe gon' fuck with me. These bitches toilet tissue soft. I'm the hardest out the eight. And if you
Friends described her as someone who radiated both warmth and ambition, a woman who carried both hope and hustle in her heart. Within a few years, Tiffany earned the nickname Nitiffa online, a play on her real name that became her brand. She poured herself into her influencer life, modeling luxury shoes, Chanel handbags, quoting Quranic prayers, and sharing late-night candid thoughts. Her feed became a mix of empowerment and aspiration, showing a Black woman unapologetically staking her claim in the world. But outside the glow of her phone screen, Tiffany's heart carried deeper stories. A single mother raising 3 kids, walking the tightrope between live video and life responsibility. She was their anchor, even when she was unraveling around the seams. As her platform grew, so did the stakes. Black female creators face a specific pressure: excellence wrapped in strength, a brand built on authenticity that demands perfection. Tiffany juggled nursing shifts, beauty brand partnerships, and business plans for hair care lines she dreamed of launching one day. A true embodiment of what success looks like under scrutiny, but there were cracks.
Still coming, got a drummer on the chopper that shit still drumming. Spit 40, now that nigga think he tore it. I'm detecting all the lies like a Maury.
Late at night, Tiffany would post a thankful message, gratitude before greatness, and quickly delete it. Sometimes weeks went by without a post, as if she was running from her own rhythm. Followers whispered, was it burnout? Was it fear? Her relationships were complex, a past marked by loyalty that had begun to feel suffocating. Close friends tell a story of devotion, never blind, but dearly given. When an ex-con partner from her past re-entered her life, she believed in better for them and for her children. But hope can turn brittle, especially when love comes with silent anger. Over those months, Tiffany began slipping away, moving her kids to a new school, shuffling bank statements, changing passwords. It looked like someone reclaiming her life, but to others, it looked like betrayal. By summer 2023, TikTok videos she once shared to spread empowerment had slowed. The name Nitiffa lit up screens less often. Instead, behind the polished clips, there were private fears, encrypted chats with close friends, private notes about needing peace. It was a doubling: Tiffany the caregiver, Tiffany the creator, Tiffany the hopeful, Tiffany the hardened. A woman with visible confidence hiding invisible fractures. In her final weeks, she spoke less about success and more about survival. Her Instagram stories, once filled with gloss and glamour, featured quiet lines like, "Some storms come from the choices you made," and "Every moment counts." They hinted at a truth she couldn't say aloud.
Stop trying to get back to the old you. She doesn't exist anymore. What you've been through, what you've experienced has changed you. You're different now. You're wiser, you're much smarter, you understand people differently now. Your worldview has changed. You're also not into the same things anymore. Different things excite you now, like expanding your creativity and connecting with God, and expressing yourself out loud is now freeing. You are not the same person anymore. You've changed and you've grown. You are a whole new you, and it's time you start to accept her. Trust me, she's super.
He was born in Chester, PA, on a cold January morning. At 44, he carried a record, arrested in 2003 for armed robbery, serving over 8 years behind bars. He left prison in 2015, clean on paper, but with years of rage tucked inside him. His name was Armand Hilton. Their first touch wasn't loud. Tiffany said she met him on Instagram. His cousin tagged him in her live video, calling her a star. Later, he slid into her DMs with respect, not bravado. She replied, curious. When they met in person at a local cafe on Spring Garden Street, he looked her in the eye and said, "Tiff, you glow." That simple line hit her. He'd seen her when nobody else did. They laughed, talked, made future plans. Emotion crept in fast. Armand helped her move apartments. He fixed her car. He made sure her kids had healthy snacks. He sang Quranic prayers when she said her prayers. She told friends she felt safe with him. Behind closed doors, things shifted. He wanted to make her his motivation, but when her influencer life took off, he bristled. "Why she got more followers than me?" he texted an associate. "I did the time. I deserve that spotlight too." Late one night in May 2022, she found him in her DMs, demanding reasons for every brand deal she posted about. "You ain't telling me everything," he snapped in a voice note. This wasn't protection, it was control. His friends described paranoia. When she posted a picture at 7:15 p.m. with Malik, her new friend from an Atlanta-based startup, Armand texted her 10 times. "Who that? They ain't into you." One message read, "You gonna disappear into his life and leave us both? Explain." She tried to calm him. She deleted a few late-night posts to avoid a fight, but she was tired of shrinking herself. She began locking her phone, shifting account passwords, quietly shifting her world. Armand felt that shift like a betrayal. Nights he paced outside her townhouse on June 10th, 2023, waiting for her return. He'd call, asking, "Where the money from those clicks going?" He sounded hurt, not angry. But hurt turned sharp in a man who spent years caged. On July 4th, when she grabbed a grilled cheese for her son at a 4th of July cookout, Armand appeared as if from thin air, voice low. "You left me for clout." She pulled her son close. She responded softly, "I left nothing, I gained my peace." This man who once lifted her felt buried by her success. He wasn't a villain yet, not entirely. He was a man trapped between pride and love, freedom and fear. And that conflict played out in late-night arguments, broken promises, silent dinners. The tension grew. He told a friend on July 28th, "I'm trying to make things right, buy us property." But the same friend heard him add, "If she keeps doing big things without me, I can't keep holding on." Armand came to represent her past trauma, the time she kept giving while he kept taking. He was love bleeding into ownership. And every time Tiffany celebrated a new milestone, another brand deal, a follower count ticking up, Armand's fragile pride tightened like a noose. They tried couples counseling in August 2023. He answered the counselor's question with, "I just want what we had." She replied, voice trembling, "I want to live." It's not one moment that breaks a relationship. It's the accumulation, the stolen money, the secret texts, the mismatched expectations. He couldn't see it as growth, only as abandonment. By September, they were strangers, a fractured love song on repeat. He clung to the idea of reclaiming their life. She moved on, finally stepping toward the freedom she'd earned. But you can't just step out of someone's shadow without facing the dark they've carried, and for Armand, that darkness was ready to speak. By early June 2023, whispers began turning into undeniable truths. Tiffany opened her business account one morning, only to find several $5,000 withdrawals she hadn't authorized. Funds earmarked for her hair extension startup, Kissy Couture, vanished. Confusion turned to concern when she traced it back to her ex's old number. She confronted him. His denial was calm, too calm. Later, a mutual friend overheard Armand on a late-night call. "She thinks she building her empire without me. Time I remind her who helped that glow." Tiffany's close circle noticed the cracks. In the cozy kitchen of her North Philadelphia townhouse, between the scent of cinnamon rolls and herbal tea, friends began steering the conversation to safety. "Lock your doors, Tiff. For real," one urged. She nodded, tensions in her jaw. On July 12th, Tiffany changed the locks. She hired a locksmith to reinforce her back door. At 9 p.m., she whispered into her Ring camera, "Let's see who knocks now." That night, she called one of her best friends, voice faint but fierce. "I just don't trust him anymore." Messages to Armand grew tense. He texted on July 14th. "We built this. How you gonna erase my name?" She replied, "I'm protecting my kids and me." Their final confrontational meeting came on July 28th at 6:15 p.m. in her Vine Street living room. She brought a folder, a paper trail, lift receipts, property deeds, even brand account statements. Her voice trembled. "I sold my share to Malik. He's investing in another location." Armand stared at her as if she'd broken him. Silence stretched. Then he pushed off the couch and walked out without a word. That was it. The door clicked shut, and so did whatever remained of their bond. Then, at the corner coffee shop on August 1st, rumors began to swirl. She was seen with Malik Thompson, a clean-cut entrepreneur from Atlanta. Photos surfaced. Tiffany laughing across the table, sipping matcha, her hand resting on his wrist. The picture felt like liberation. But for Armand, it was confirmation. He texted her on August 5th. "You moved on quick." She responded with quiet strength. "I move forward." Another story followed, her posing at a luxury car show in Atlanta, a simple caption, "New energy," and a lipstick emoji. Armand reacted later, in a private message that read, "You gon' pay for that." This was no idle threat. Friends said he began watching her tagged locations, commenting on her public posts at odd hours. He was glued to her feed. One close friend said, voice breaking, "It wasn't curiosity, it was ownership." Tiffany sensed the tension too. In a now-deleted Instagram story on August 8th, she posted a candlelit background with the words, "Protection starts with awareness." She shared it to a small circle. That same night, she asked her brother to sleep over, saying, "I want the kids safe." By mid-August, she had split her business bank accounts into separate names, her father's and her own. She sent a handwritten letter to Armand. "I wish you well." He never replied. But it wasn't just heartbreak Armand was dealing with. It was betrayal, financial ruin, rising insecurity, and the rumor that Tiffany was going to marry someone else. A rumor that haunted him more than any courtroom threat and would drive him toward one final, unthinkable act. He started showing up, unannounced, unwelcome. On October 1st, 2023, around 6 p.m., a neighbor on Ridge Street spotted him lingering in the shadows near Tiffany's driveway. Same man from Chester. Same eyes filled with regret or anger, or both. He didn't knock, he just watched. By October 2nd, her brother messaged warningly, "Saw him at school pickup. She ain't safe." Tiffany replied with calm, but her smile in that text photo was thin, brave, but tired. Her walls were going up. October 4th, she posted an Instagram story from her back porch, dusk light warm on her face, lips parted in laughter, captioned, "Free at last." Viewers dropped heart emojis. They heard freedom. But her followers didn't know about the locked door, extra set of keys in her pocket, the ring alert last week that had spooked her awake. October 6th, surveillance footage from a bodega security camera on West Lehigh showed him strolling by at 2 p.m. Same green jacket, head low. He paused, looked through a window, stepped back, then left. No rush, no apology. That afternoon, he made a call to Chester. 2 minutes. The words cut through the static. "She stole from me, now she gon' pay." Not a question, a statement, heard by a friend who recorded it under subpoena. His voice measured, no hiss, just ice. At exactly 1 p.m. on October 7th, 2023, Tiffany pulled into the lot at 2500 West Lehigh Avenue, North Philadelphia. It was a sunny Saturday, kids laughing in the distance, nothing felt off. She parked, turned toward her son and smiled. "Ready for your haircut, baby?" He jumped out, slipping into the barber chair like it was their usual Saturday ritual. She wrapped the cape around him, her voice steady but warm, and walked to the counter to settle in with her phone, replying to a few brand messages. At 1:15 p.m., the doorbell rang. It wasn't the usual chime. It had weight. It landed over the buzz of clippers and casual chatter. Tiffany looked up. He stepped in, green jacket, calm eyes, stride like he owned the floor. 4 shots cut through the soundtrack of a barbershop. One cracked against the mirror, another tore through leather styling chairs, the third struck her torso, the fourth hit her head. She froze. The room froze. Screams erupted. Barbers dove behind counters, patrons ducked under chairs, shop towels flew. Her little boy, still in the chair, screamed, "Mommy!" and covered his face, confused and bleeding with innocence. One barber dropped his tools and sprinted to her side, catching her as she collapsed against the cold tile. Blood pooled beneath her, dark and still. Footsteps pounded on the concrete floor, and Armand turned and walked out, the door swinging shut behind him. Within seconds, frantic 911 calls filled the air. A witness yelled into his phone, voice shaking, "She's shot inside Platinum Cuts on Lehigh. There's so much blood." Sirens started singing in the distance. By 1:45 p.m., paramedics were kneeling in the doorway, their gloves in the blood, trying to keep her alive. At 2:04 p.m., she was pronounced dead, the same hands that carved her life now cold. In that barbershop, forever etched in time, evil walked in plain sight. A mother, an influencer, a beacon of motherly love, snapped then gone.
Philadelphia police have identified a suspect in connection with a deadly shooting inside a North Philly barber shop. 44-year-old Armand Hilton is wanted for murder, robbery, and related charges. Police say he shot and killed Nitiffa Wade inside a barber shop on Lehigh Avenue on Saturday afternoon. Investigators say Hilton opened fire inside the barber shop, hitting Wade in her torso and head. She died at the scene. Hilton is considered armed and dangerous.
The quiet that followed the chaos carried a question that still echoes. Why did love end like this? As soon as sirens slammed down West Lehigh Avenue, police flooded the block. They ascended Platinum Cuts in force. At 2:04 p.m. on October 7, 2023, they pronounced Tiffany dead, 2 gunshot wounds to the torso and head. Her son, shocked and clinging to a barber's leg, was taken away by a crisis counselor. Detectives immediately booted up the security footage. Slow replay, focusing frame by frame on that green-jacketed silhouette stepping in, pausing, then firing 4 precise shots. At 3:15 p.m., investigators cross-checked face recognition software, matched to Armand Hilton, age 44, last seen in Chester, PA. They issued an all-points bulletin within the hour. By evening, she was the only story across local news. He was the city's most wanted fugitive. Within 24 hours, he vanished. No phone signal, no sightings, not even a text. A full manhunt stretched from North Philly to Chester to Delaware and beyond. They combed through transit cameras, peered down highways, knocked on doors. Philly police teamed up with state troopers and the FBI. A $20,000 tip reward was announced at first, and climbed fast. Within a week, it hit $220,000, doubling as the public outcry grew louder. City leaders spoke out at candlelight vigils. Her father stood before reporters, voice quiet. She didn't deserve to die like this. Community groups demanded answers. People lit memorials, red roses at the barbershop entrance, social posts captioned, "Char justice for Tiffany Wade." But in the background, a question whispered through every pain-wrapped comment thread and tear-numbed vigil. He claimed she stole his life. But did he steal hers first, long before he ever pulled that trigger? Was this preventable? Could Tiffany's late-night safety updates, locks changed, a Ring camera installed, a brother sleeping over, have saved her from her final Saturday afternoon? On October 7th, 2023, North Philadelphia watched a mother of 2 fall in front of her son. And day after day, we ask ourselves, why didn't she get out sooner? How do we protect Black women when love becomes a weapon? Tiffany was doing all the right things, building, loving, hustling. Yet when violence stalked her, public platforms and private circles failed to shield her. We celebrated her influencer glow, but missed the warnings in her private posts. What does justice even mean now that Armand Hilton is still out there? A killer on the run, a reward that grows, a community that demands answers. But as nights stretch into weeks, grief digs deeper than hope. Arrests mean closure. But closure doesn't exist in a lonely jail cell. Justice for Tiffany means recognition that Black women's lives matter even behind the prettiest filters. Social media hid her worry behind luxury bags and Broadway lights, but beneath that shine, she wrote things like, "Some storms come from the choices you made." These words, her quiet truth, slipped across screens like cries for help, and yet the world kept scrolling. This ain't just Tiffany's story, it's the story of too many women like her, unprotected, unheard, until it's too late. Tiffany's death was not just a crime, it's a call to action. If you believe every Black woman deserves safety, speak up. Like, comment, share this video, subscribe so her story isn't buried in silence. Demand justice, demand change, demand that no voice goes unheard.